Dear friends, welcome to episode number 2 of my podcast Time to Talk T to T. On today's episode, I think I want to address it more towards the male audience, as I think it's something important to discuss. And today's episode is inspired in a way uh, by by Andresala, which is the place where I think first I started to become a better man, uh, at least athletically, mindfully as well. So, yes, today's episode's theme, I would say, is if you want peace, prepare for war. And what do I mean by it is that, in my opinion, today's society and the structural norms is creating weak men. Weak men, not physically, but weak men in terms of mindfulness and emotions. And I think a lot of men nowadays in this society are men without any specific goals, any specific values, any specific dreams, and kind of just flowing through the life, being harmless. And let me tell you this, a harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very, very dangerous man who has it under its voluntarily control. A good man is civilized and disciplined man who can use everything he is to the service of his family, friends, and loved ones. And being a dangerous man doesn't mean that you are not kind, that you are not loving, that you are not good-hearted, passionate, or generous, or even forgiving at sometimes. But what it means is that you have all this capacity and all these skills to be a dangerous man when it's needed for you, when it's needed for your friends or family. And you see, everyday life is not an easy life. Even though we want to think as everyday life as easy life, it's not. Everyday communication, it takes an effort. It takes mindfulness, and it's a hard work, and it involves a lot of different skills in your toolbox to get through this everyday life. It means sometimes acting without judgment, listening more, understanding, and before speaking, making an educated and observative decisions on why you are in this situation, why the person in front of you is in this situation, or why something is happening. And I think it's so essential that's why train your mind and train your brain, because see, brain and mind, it's like a muscle. If you exercise it, you can train and you can get better in those things, better in understanding, better in mindfulness, better in thoughtfulness. You can be more kind, and those things, they don't mean that you are a weak person or that you are a weak man. It just means that you have the capacity to withdraw yourself from this situation and look at it as purely on the facts of what is happening around you and why is happening around you, and before acting in any emotional way that might harm the situation from your perspective. And I really like this quote, which is that it is better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in a war. And I think it's so essential, and it defines so much, namely that you have created, established, developed all these skills and necessary tools to address any situation that the war or enemy might bring upon you. But you just have the ability to know how to act, what to use, when to use. So I think this is why it's so important just develop your mind and just look at everyday life as small battles that you need to overcome. And I think that can create a certain peace in you, because one of my core values, it's peace. I really love to feel peaceful, to be peaceful, to act peacefully towards everyone I meet in my life. It wasn't the case years ago, it has been the case in the recent years, and I'm very proud of myself that I've come to this place or developed my mindset in a way that I really can address most of the situations peacefully, most of the conversations peacefully, even though if it's not pleasant. It's very important to preserve this peace within you, and to act and, yeah, and understand people. And I think with that, I want to say that if you want the peace, prepare for war, develop your toolbox, develop your skill set, develop your emotional intelligence. And I think how to do it, this today's short episode's takeaway, and I would like to read my favorite quote from Marcus Aurelius, which is one of the greatest Stoics that has ever lived. And it went like this: these are the characteristics of a rational soul: self awareness, self examination, and self determination. It reaps its own harvest, it succeeds in its own purpose. So, just the key takeaway is self examine yourself. Look at your determinations, look at your purposes and values, and understand why you are who you are and what is that is really important to you. But most importantly, understand that everything comes from within and that nothing external can take it away. No one external can take it away. If you have the peace and understanding of who you truly are and why you truly are, then I think it's going to be a peaceful life. Sending you all love and see you on the next episode, friends. Cheers.